Hey everyone, UC here from iTradePrice. It is Sunday, a little after 4:30. So let us get started and make the video for this week. Okay, so what you're looking at is a chart of QQQ. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. So, okay, what has happened, right? Just a little bit of bigger picture view. Okay, it's always good to have that in the back of your mind. So, this was the breakout area, right? So we saw about a year and a half worth of rally, right? Like that. All price went all the way up, but the journey down to the same level took only around 6 months, right? That's always the case. Fear, for some reason, is always a stronger emotion than the I don't know, greed or euphoria, whatever you want to call it. So we're back around that level, right? So what happened last week, or actually since the past few weeks, right? We are seeing a series of lower highs, right? And we have the way it's been trading, it's just we always get these 2 weeks of touch points at the same level, and then the chart keeps on breaking down. So let's see what happens this week. 309.5 is the upside resistance that bulls would like to take out to try to test this down trend line of this down channel. So if I go into, let's say, a daily time frame, here's the down channel, right? 309.5 being the resistance from support level from a few weeks ago, and once we broke down, so now the bulls would like to target that one first initially, and then see if we can take out this downtrend line to try to move back up, or if it fails and try to rolls over and kind of test the lower support levels, right? In the hourly view, we saw some buyers come in. Let me go into 4 hourly, just kind of gives a little bit better view in terms of the candlesticks, right? So you have this this 309.5 support, which became resistance, right? And now that can be the initial target on the upside, and we'll see how price acts once it touches that level. The push on Friday towards the upside was not on that big of a volume, right? But nonetheless, it did manage to kind of give us some move to the upside. So we'll just see how it goes. But on the downside, 294 becomes sort of the intraday support now that the bulls would like to hold the price above to see some follow-through move. But if we give up 294, I think the selling pressure can come back. Similar pattern in SPY as well, or let's just see SPX, right? All the move up took year and a half to move all the way up, and then the 6 months to come back down to the same level, right? Last week we saw a nice bottom wick. That's fine, that's good, but still, technically speaking, lower lows and lower highs, right? With no green week so far in the past 6 to 7 weeks, right? So let's see what happens next week. In a daily view, again, we are going to see how it handles 4068.7 or 4070, you can say, if you just want to round off that number, because that was the support and now it can act as a resistance. We can definitely go all the way up, touch this downtrend line, and then give ourselves a top wick and then a move down, right? Or if we can see if it wants to go back up, then this level becomes sort of our target in the medium term, because that's where the price had initially started breaking down from, and it never managed to get back up above that level. It tried 3 times, right? 1, 2, and 3. So that's the level to watch on the upside if we get a break above the down channel. Okay. Amazon, weekly view, still I'd say weak, but thing that I like is that it's a green hammer bar right at the long-term support, right? If I give you a monthly view, here's the monthly long-term uptrend line, right? All these touch points, 1 and 2, and then now a third one, right? So we'll see how this month turns out to be, because these are the candles, the previous candles are the closures, monthly closures. So right now we still have 2 weeks left before this monthly bar closes. So we don't have that clear view, but at least on the weekly perspective, we do have a closure back above the uptrend line. But still it managed to close below the close of previous week, right? So it's still technically weak. Still it has to reverse that trend up. If it wants to do that, I would look for this is the daily view, right? So the it really needs to get above 25 to sort of, you can say, reverse the the downtrend that it has been in for this long, right? After this big earnings gap down, it tried to go back up, couldn't do it, and then we just saw a series of red days and a little bit of push here towards the end of last week. Good green volume here as well, but it needs to get above 2280 to try to push it back above 2400, or at least touch base 2400, because that's where the daily resistance is in the daily time frame. Okay, Apple, similar story. It's very weak chart overall, right? It broke the uptrend line that it had managed to sort of close above all these previous year and a half or so. So it's the very first time we saw a weekly close below the uptrend line. We did manage to bounce hard from this sort of resistance turn support level around 138.1. That was our downside target last week. We managed to close back above, bounce from there. So nice. But still, again, lower highs, lower lows in the weekly time frame. In the daily, similar view. So we'll see if it can go back above this mini downtrend line, right? You see in a sort of this view. So if it can manage to go back above this one, we can definitely see it back test this 156.7 level that it broke down from, right? If I take fibs from this level and we consider this, one big impulsive move, so from there, I think it can easily go towards 150 level at least on this push higher. If overnight futures hold, then we'll see how it treats this downtrend line. If it gets rejected or tries to break above this towards 156.7. Tesla, weekly view, again, similar story, lower highs, lower lows, bounced back to close above its long-term uptrend line. Not really long-term, but still, it's an uptrend line, right? But again, it just looks heavy, right? Because the weekly bars you see are giving top wicks. Any green weekly bar you see is a top wick. And then the rest of the ones are all red, where you see a sort of a trend bar. This past week, we have a bottom wick, but not so convincingly on the bullish side right now. If I pull up a daily view, still heavy, still, it's not really a nice bullish looking follow through to the upside doji bar, which means, yes, it's a pause to the downside. And, we did see a little bit of bounce once we saw this bullish daily close in the daily view. But we'll see how it goes. But to really lean bullish, I would say it has to get above 845 or 850 level, right? Because that was psychological support. And once it broke down, and now it can act as a psychological resistance, plus this downtrend line that it kind of, coincides with this level here nicely. So we'll see how that goes. In a 4-hourly view, it has managed to come back up. Like, you can see there's multiple channels, right? So we have this intraday channel that it managed to get above on Friday, but then we also have a larger time frame channel, something like this, that it needs to kind of go and try to target and get above to really start aggressive sequence on the bullish side, right? Until that happens, overall under pressure. So we'll see on a day-by-day basis how it treats this area on the upside. If we get a push above 800 level, then it can definitely run towards 845, I think, or at least 816 becoming the first level. If I bring in the other levels, that's how this looks up. So in a 15-minute view, you can see we have a nice defined channel. If I bring the extended hours, which they're already there. So this one can be actually adjusted, something like this, where we can have something like that. All right, and then we can see if it holds this level, or or it just breaks down from there or something. SQ, weekly view, right? Still in a downtrend on a weekly level, but with a bottom wick, and it needs to get back above 94. But higher time frame, I think 110.5 is the resistance that we really need to get back above to sort of reverse this recent downtrend that it has gotten into, right? Otherwise, you see there's no bullish bar in a weekly time frame, and even if there is a bullish bar, it has a top wick, all this stuff. So it just shows you that there's still selling pressure. So try not to pick the bottom, right? It will happen when it will happen. You don't have to be a hero, because your day traders or your short-term traders, you don't have to be obsessed with trying to catch the bottom, right? So all you have to do is like, yes, once the trend reverses, we'll trade that side of the momentum, and then we'll go with that, right? So 94 was the support. Now we'll use it as resistance on the upside and see how the price acts once it gets there. We also have this down channel, right? So if it really needs to get going, it needs to break above this level to try to target this 110.5, which is the resistance here in a higher time frame. But if we gets rejected from this downtrend line or 94 level, that means sellers are still in control and they are just kind of selling the strength as the market goes back up. Nvidia, weekly view, still again following the rest of the market, did bounce a little bit with a bit of a bottom wick here towards the last week, right? But still need to get about 183 to show some strength. We have earnings towards the, I think maybe 23rd. What is 23rd? I think it's next Monday, right? So we'll see how it opens, or how it acts throughout the week. Maybe it remains a little bouncy because of the earnings, right? And overall, chip sector has done well in the recent history, but yes, definitely it has gotten hit bad with the rest of the market. But with the supply on the chip side, pretty tight, they can command higher prices, which can lead to say better revenue and better margins. And I think those are the fundamental things that Wall Street analysts look for. But again, we're strictly day traders, price action readers. So from that perspective, you can see this was the range that it traded in for the longer time, and then it broke down. So now it becomes our sort of initial level to look for on the upside, and then see if we can get back above that to target this 204 level, right? But overall, what has happened is we had these 2 days, right, of congestion, breakdown, no downside follow through. Bulls came back up and took the price up. So maybe a little bit of reversal here, right? But 183 really needs to be taken out to see what's happening. Shop, again, overall still in a downtrend, right? Strength gets sold. Here's a daily view. You can clearly see that 411 is the resistance, as that was a support. So now if it gets back above that, we have this downtrend line. We'll see how that one goes on. You can see mostly the chart structure for everything that we've been analyzing so far is like that, right? Breakdown back up towards the low end of the previous week, right? And now we have a downtrend line that the price wants to get above. So most of the charts are following the same pattern, same kind of look and feel. Okay, let's look at a couple of more. Google, I think it's one of the maybe better looking ones, I think. Let's look at weekly. Not really. Still got hurt. So we are below the channel bottom here, and the past 2 weeks of green. Yes, it is a pause, but it can very well be sort of a bear flag for the next leg down, unless or until we can get back above this down channel and a reversal higher above 24.75, I would say. Structure wise, we are still weak, right? We can still see a little bit of bounce play out towards the higher side of 24.50, but unless or until it can get back above 24.75, I'll just be taking quicker profits on the push to the upside, right? Because it can all just break down all of a sudden, right? And you can just see this lack of bullish trend bars, right? And any bullish trend bar you don't see any follow through, right? This was one right here. This one's one right here. You don't see any follow through again to the upside once these days are here. In fact, you just see sellers take back in control. Some congestion here, breakdown, back up. So 2357 has 2 touch points. Once it can get back above that, we can see some upside push. Other than that, that's about it. Let's look at one more, Microsoft. Okay, again, daily lack of bullish structure, lack of bullish days, bullish follow through, sellers still in control. Weekly view, we had these 3 weeks of top wicks that meant selling pressure, and then a breakdown towards 250 psychological level and a little bit of bounce back up, but still weak overall, right? Evident in the 4-hourly chart as well. Here's the down channel, intraday down channel. It really needs to get back above this 265 to show some strength and try to target this 273.8 that it broke down from here a few weeks ago, like this level right here, right? It broke down, tried to test back up that upside, and that level provided a resistance. So we know that this level has some significance that we can consider, right? So, and then eventually it broke down and now back up. So this was the level that it broke down from. That's where we paused on Friday. So if it can get back up above 265, we can target the higher end of this recent range. 273 can be sort of you can say a neckline, right? Like if I do something like that, where this becomes your left shoulder, head, and then price goes up, falls down, tries to make a right shoulder, with this being the neckline, right? Again, it's all sort of an anticipation, not that the price is going to do like that, but if it does, we have a story to tell. We have some pattern to look for and identify, and some levels to target and see, okay, this 273.8 is a key level, this 263 is a key level, because it has some good history to it. So we know that it's going to work, at least on the first touches, right? So you can always kind of think in those lines. All right, guys, since we also had a session today earlier, so you already picked my brain on some of those things, but hopefully you like this little quick clip for this next week. We'll try to make another one mid next week. All right, thank you guys, and have a good rest of your Sunday evening.